Welcome back. My name is Pastor Justin Morris with the Pentecostal Evangelical Church, and I'm here to say Good Friday to you, okay? Well, and you're probably thinking, what's so good about it? We just watched a video of Jesus being beat, mocked, hung on a cross, and died. And even one of the criminals on one side of him mocked him. And so if you would have asked the same question to the disciples, his friends, and his family, and some of his followers, they would have been asking you the same thing. What's so good about it? All hope is lost. The enemy's won. Satan and his servants at that point seemed to win and get their agenda across. And evil and death seem to have triumphed. And so why is this so good? Okay? Even the soldiers mocked him. We find this out in Luke chapter 23, verses 36 and 37. Let's read that. The soldiers also mocked him, coming and offering him sour wine, and saying, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." Even one of the criminals, like I just talked about, mocked him. Verse 39, then one of the criminals who hung blasphemed him, saying, "If you are the Christ, save yourself and us." And the other criminal on the other side of him is now defending Jesus. Verse 40, but the other answering rebuked him, saying, "Do you not even fear God, seeing you are under the same condemnation? And we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." The criminal that defended Jesus knew who Jesus was. He knew he was Lord and Master. And we know this because in 42 it says, then he said to Jesus, "Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus said to him, "Assuredly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise." Okay. Now this is something that I want to point out because I'd always thought about paradise being heaven, and he was going to go to heaven and be with him. And then I started doing a lot of research on this. And where is this paradise that Jesus spoke about? Because if you remember that in the story about the rich man and Lazarus, they didn't go to heaven. Okay, in fact, piecing it all together with Jesus getting the keys of death, hell, and the grave. Where was those keys at? I'm just starting to piece all these things together. And I found in Matthew chapter 12, verse 40, it says, "For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the huge fish, so the Son of Man will be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth." Well, when I read that, so many times I passed over it thinking that meant that his body was in the tomb. Well, for the first thing, the tomb was not in the heart of the earth. It was in the side of a hill, and it was above sea level. So it's far from being in the heart of the earth. Okay? So what was he doing down there? Well, he was getting the keys of death, hell, and the grave. Okay? Who were the captives? These are the people that died before Jesus died on the cross. Okay, they went to a place called paradise. Let's read the account of the rich man and Lazarus. Now, this is the Lazarus that was the beggar. He wasn't Martha and Mary's brother. We know that because these people had actually money. Okay, and it talks about their house, and so obviously we know that these are two different Lazarus. So in the account, Luke 16, chapter 16, verses 19 through 31, it tells the entire account of this, but we're only going to focus on verses 22 through 26. It says, "So it was that the beggar died, and he was carried by the angels to Abraham's bosom." Why would it be carried to Abraham's bosom, not Jesus or God or carried into heaven? Because that's not where paradise was. Okay. The rich man also died and was buried. And being in torments in Hades, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. Then he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented. And besides all this, between us and you there is a gulf fixed, so that those who want to pass from here to you cannot, nor can those from there pass to us. All right, so this proves, that there was a place called hell, which is still there. All right, don't fool yourself, okay? And then there was a place called paradise, which is, if it's there, there's nobody there. And there was a great gulf between the two. All right, so let's get back to Jesus' family, friends, and disciples. After, way after, like a few days later. Because in fact, if you had had the same question, what was so good about Good Friday, a couple days later, the conversation would have been a lot different. Okay, they knew that all hope was not lost. Satan and his servants did not win, and evil and death did not triumph. Okay? Now at this point, I'm kind of going into my Resurrection Sunday sermon, but I want to give you a little teaser so you'll watch that. Okay? In fact, the case was complete opposite now. After 2 to 3 days later, the forces of evil had been defeated. Death had been destroyed, and from that point on, human life would never be the same. Well, what changed? What's different now? Well, for the fact, Jesus was not in the tomb anymore, and he appeared to them. And so, everybody that was cheering this on is like, what the heck? What's going on here? Especially the powers that be, okay? Suddenly they had realized what had happened seemed to be defeat, but it was more of a victory at that point. Now in Acts chapter 2, verses 23 and 24, there's two things that are discussed here. Number one, it's being pointed out that Israel had destroyed or killed Jesus, and then in 24, God had raised him up. All right, this is pretty exciting. And again, I'm kind of really touching in my Resurrection Sunday message, but I want you to understand why this is considered Good Friday. In verse 23, him being delivered by the determined purpose and foreknowledge of God, you have taken by lawless hands, have crucified and put to death. 24, whom God raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be held by it. It's too powerful. Jesus Christ is over all of that. He created everything that we see, according to Colossians and John 1:1 through 1:3. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and nothing was created without him. Okay? So we know that Jesus Christ, the Son of God, created everything. He created the throne his Father sat on. So how could it be defeated by death? Okay? Can't be. There's no way. He is the Lord of Lords, the King of Kings. Okay? I just want to say that today is definitely a good day. Okay, like the Klingons would say, today is a good day to die. Okay, for Jesus, it was a great day to die because he knew in a few days he would resurrect and he'd be conquerors over that. Okay, all right, so I hope that you all have a great Friday, and I want you to stay tuned for after the video. There's a song, a Good Friday song, I call it, that was recorded by a very good friend of mine by the name of Linda Lanier, and it's called I Will Glory in the Cross, and it's from her CD Traveling Light. Now, what you're going to hear is pretty much just the chorus, but it's very powerful, okay? And if you want to get that whole song, just go on lindalanier.com or .org, and you can buy that CD called Traveling Light, and you'll be very blessed by it. And so I just want to encourage you to continue to worship God in this day and be blessed and have a great day.